About 7 weeks ago, my producer, Arden Fari, well known to you, and CBS News senior political editor, Steve Chaggaris, really well known to you, well, we embarked on a new podcasting venture. It's called the Takeout, or what I like to refer to as a humble audio odyssey. Every week over lunch or breakfast or dinner, depending on the travel schedules and other things, we sit down, talk to guests of all stripes, Republicans, Democrats, to discuss a range of topics and subjects, pop culture, politics, what's in the news, and everything in between. This past week, we were joined by President Obama's former chief speechwriter, Cody Keenan, and President George W. Bush's speechwriter, Jonathan Horn. We waded into a bunch of topics, including President Trump's recent address to a joint session of Congress, quite naturally. Take a look.
Donald Trump benefited from giving what most years we would think is a very boring State of the Union. It was basically just a laundry list of proposals. But because we expected something much more unconventional from Donald Trump, it ended up making the ideas sound much more reasonable and presidential. And I think the speech will really serve Donald Trump quite well, because for the first time he was able to wrap himself and his language in the flourishes of presidential rhetoric. And as a result, he sounded presidential.
Just as a speechwriter, I've had one laugh line in the speech, which I know wasn't intended as a laugh line. It was when he said, years from now, even if this entire agenda comes true, we'll look back on this night as when it all started. I laughed at that, not in a partisan way, but purely as a speechwriter, because nobody remembers the State of the Union addresses, ever.
And just for those watching at home, Cody Keenan, the one with a beard, Jonathan Horn, the one without a beard. That was the corner booth of the Rigsby Restaurant in DuPont Circle. We had breakfast there. I bring back my sidekick, the greatest sidekick in the world of podcasts, or any other world for that matter, senior political editor Steve Chaggaris. Steve, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me.
The John Oates to your Daryl Hall sans mustache.
Yes, and thank God neither one of us have a mullet or any of the beginnings of a mullet. So the podcast has been a place for us to talk to interesting people most recently involved in this very difficult presidential campaign. Our first episode started with Corey Lewandowski, the first campaign manager for President Trump. And it seems like literally 3 lifetimes ago that we launched this podcast and we were talking to Corey the day before the inauguration. I think we have a soundbite from Corey's appearance on that episode 1. Let's take a listen.
Mr. Trump and Tom have developed a relationship over the years because they play golf together. And it's been an important thing for Mr. Trump to develop those relationships. And if you read, I think Golf Digest this week said that Donald Trump is going to be the greatest golfer as the president by far that the country's ever seen. Because he's been a great athlete. Donald Trump's been a great athlete his whole life. And that's what he loves. He loves the competition. He used to be a competitive tennis player. He used to be a basketball player. He used to be a baseball player. He loves the competition. And he will tell you, and if you could get Tom Brady, he would tell you this too, Tom Brady, for all of his athletic achievements, cannot beat Donald Trump at golf. That's a true story.
Tom Brady.
Did you see the look on my face, by the way? I didn't believe a word that Corey was saying.
Tom Brady can't beat Donald Trump at golf.
Yeah.
And that kind of went around the world after that podcast. Lots of people picked up on that. It was picked up in golf publications. It was kind of clickbait for a little while.
Yeah. The beauty of that, though, is Tom Brady did win the Super Bowl a couple weeks later.
Yes. Probably more important than a club championship. Although, if
Although
you're
I
ever
still can't buy.
If you're ever in Donald Trump's presence, he will at some moment
buy that.
tell you that he won a couple of club championships, and that's a big
But do
deal.
you really think that Tom Brady can't?
I do know this for a fact from people who have played. President Trump is a very good golfer, and for his age, a really, really good golfer. Hits the ball long and straight, and that's a key part to playing golf well. And he putts extremely well, I'm told. So that part of it's true. Whether he can beat Tom Brady or not, who knows? A couple of weeks later, we had Jennifer Palmieri, who was the communications director, but much more than that, of Hillary Clinton's campaign. She was as close to a chief strategist within that campaign without the title. And we had a conversation with her about what it was like to be on the losing side of this campaign and what she's kind of going through. And let's take a quick listen to that.
Such a spectacular explosion and to this election, and the campaign was so hard. I've done hard things, but this campaign was just harrowing every day, and you thought that you couldn't believe that you would Hillary would be put through this much, only to lose the country to someone that we thought was so ill-prepared to depleted. It's pretty devastating.
Do you think she's devastated?
Yeah. We're all devastated. Hillary Clinton, human being, devastated.
That was Jennifer Palmieri. You could hear the emotion in her voice, still wrung out from the loss of the 2016 election.
Yeah, for somebody who, as we've dealt with her a lot during campaigns, is almost totally opposite of that personality. It was really interesting to see her reflect on what had happened in November.
Steve, thanks for being here. Thanks
My
for
pleasure.
being the world's greatest sidekick on on this podcast or any other podcast for that matter. Please don't forget to download the latest episode of The Takeout this Friday. It's there every Friday on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. Our guest this week is none other than Stephen Dubner, co-author of the hit book Freakonomics. And to catch up on The Takeout, previous episodes are available right now on those 3 platforms I just named. We're back after a quick break. You are watching Red and Blue.